Hello, today I'm out in the pumpkin patch and I am going to triple the amount of growing space here. I'm Liz Zorab and this is By the Farm. And to do that I have bought what has been sold as a polytunnel. It's a fairly basic frame and a plastic cover that goes over it. And I'm going to use it without the plastic cover, so I've really bought a metal frame. I bought this online and I will leave a link to it in the video description. And it says that this is easy assemble for 2 people. So here I am, all 2 of me. So it'll be another one of those. Give it a go, see if I can do it. If I can't do it, then when Mr. J comes home from work, I'll ask for his help. What I do know is I need to take it off the trolley. I'll move the trolley out of the way. So a couple of days ago I came through and cleared the area a little bit there, and I've put down some weed suppressing membrane to go through to the chicken and turkey palace there, because I'm about to repurpose that. That will be another video. But it does mean I've got a little bit more walking space, or I will have when I've flattened that down properly. So here we go. There are lots of pieces. Now this isn't what I was expecting to see. I wasn't expecting to see any curved parts. I thought it had a pointy top. So there's a bag of fittings and the cover. Now I'm not going to be using the cover, so I'll store that away. I will keep it in case at any point I want to use it, perhaps for starting off more tender perennials if there isn't enough room in the polytunnel and the greenhouse. That seems unlikely, but I'm going to keep it. But I'll move it out of the way, and the cardboard I'll move over onto the weeds. Now obviously I'll need to take the sticky tape off that cardboard, but it kind of gets it out of the way and pushes those stinging nettles a little bit further back. The first thing I need to do is actually to read the instructions. I am pretty good about reading instructions before I start. When I bought this kit, it said that it was 4.5 metres by 3 metres. I'm beginning to think they might have sent me a bigger size because it looks huge. But anyway, I have started. So there are top poles with angly bits which I'm putting together, and then the next section just clicks into place rather than having to use a screw and spanner. Luckily all the pieces have got little sticky labels on them with the number of the parts written on them, so they're very easy to work out which is which. This is why I have to hope I have picked up the right number. Right, parts number 1, and that's a number 6. Yes. So, what do I need to put on the bottom of that? I need to put something else. I need to put on section number 2 onto the bottom of these, which I think are these curvy ones. So on the instructions, this is how it looks. Looks quite wobbly to me. this is what the instructions say. And let's carry on. And so I've got everything done that it says on there. So step 2 is then, really complicated. So we'll come back when I've done the next step. Well, I'd really like to say that this was very simple to put up, and in theory it was very simple. And as yet I haven't found when it would be really useful to have 2 people. Be useful if I knew what I was doing with this. The instructions, as they often are just diagrams, and they're not hugely clear. They're clear to understand, but they're just tiny images, and I actually think there's a couple of things in this kit that would make a world of difference. One would be to have bigger, clearer images for the instructions, and the second would be to replace this tiny little metal spanner with something a little bit chunkier and certainly a little bit longer, because so far I haven't found anywhere that it wouldn't have worked having it a bit longer, and just because of the sheer fiddliness of it, and I don't even have particularly big hands, it just makes it very fiddly with it being so small. So I've got another screw to put in on the cross support over on that side. I haven't shown you the bit in between. There was quite a lot of words that I'd have had to go oops on the video, because there may have been some swearing. I'm a little bit concerned. It has to be built, obviously I think it's built in 2 parts and then slotted together, I think. I am actually following the instructions as we go. Or maybe we're nearly there. I don't know. I can't work out how long it's going to be. But it's quite lightweight. If I was having this as a polytunnel, it would need to be secured to the ground very, very sturdily. The kit comes with guy ropes and things to hold it down with, but I'd want some really major pegs going into the ground, because the second the wind gets into all that plastic would lift it up. So at the moment I've got the poles going through the gate, but of course I'm aware I need to move it all of this way and shut the gate a little bit so I don't actually build it completely through the gate. I did that so that the gate could support some of the metal pieces. I guess they would be in my second person. This is day 2 of finishing creating this. I stopped because Mr. J came home for lunch the other day, and then it rained all of yesterday. So I've got just the last 3 connections to put in this corner. When I first started putting it together, I was kind of leaning it against the gate, and then I leant it against the support for the squashes at the back there. And this morning Mr. J gave me a hand to move it all forwards and bring the back of it level with the end of this pallet coming this way, and I will find a way to strap it onto this and to hold it at the base there. And I might try and put a metal pole into the ground there and then have something coming up to fix it this way. So what I've got is the leg parts from an old trampoline, and they're really good at being able to put them into the ground, bang them into the ground, and then put a pole or a bamboo cane in them, and that provides some extra support, anchors it really well into the ground. So I think I'll probably do that here to keep this in place. Hopefully I've got the apex of this in line with this pallet, just because I think that would look neater. I don't have a neat thing in the garden, but just every now and then I sort of think some things should be symmetrical, and something that's just off centre I think would just forever irritate me. And I need to fix it into the ground. Now there are some guy ropes and small pegs to put in the ground, because it would have had a cover over it. I've actually got some slightly bigger metal pegs to fix it into the ground with, so I'm hoping that will hold it. If it doesn't, if it moves around, then I will bring out some pallets and lay the pallets in the corners where I can, just to weight it down. I'm not going to be walking in this area very much until early autumn, when I come to harvest the squashes. So let's get on with those last 3 screws. That corner is now fixed and I've got it in place where I want it, and I've pegged it down just using some metal pegs. So at the beginning I said this was about getting 3 times more growing space. And my plan is to train most of the squashes that I've got planted each side of the frame here, and here, and some more I will put in over on that side, and I'm going to train them and climb them up and over here. And at the moment they haven't got very much to hang on to, so my next step is to put some netting on here that the tendrils of the squashes can hold on to help them climb up and over. So whereas one plant would scrabble across quite a large area on the ground, if I get it growing vertically, it's still really only taking up about a foot or 2 in each direction, so I can plant in 3 times as many squashes. Or, as I'm going to do here, I'm going to interplant the squashes with tomatoes and also currant bushes. Because while I was having lunch, I started thinking about the things that I know I want to plant in this area. And over time, this will become part of the food forest that will just extend through from here and carry on down. And I know I want to put currant bushes in here. And it occurs to me, if I plant them on the inside of this frame, so in this space here, then I could, next year, put netting over this frame, create a doorway and actually make a walk-in fruit cage, somewhere that the birds can't get into to get at the currants. And that seems like quite a good idea. So I think I can get maybe 2, 4, 6 plants into this space, and they'll be able to grow quite nicely for a few years without their branches and leaves poking out through the netting, and I can always prune them back. So this year this will be my squash arch, and in future years this will become a walk-in fruit cage. And so that the squash actually have something to climb up, I need to cover this frame with netting. And to support the netting, I've fixed bamboo cane on. I've just used some baling twine. I've got some pea and bean netting. This is just recycled. It's been used for about the last 3 or 4 years. So I've put that at the top, over the top, and I'm going to take this down. I'm taking it down this far simply because that's as far as it will go with the length of netting, to have it the same on both sides. So I've just temporarily tied it on there, and I'll hook it over there. So you can see I've just tied it on with baling twine here. I'll make sure that it's got a safety cover over there because it's not quite my eye height. It certainly is Mr. J's though. And then this netting can easily be taken down at the end of the year and saved to be used for something else next year. So my thinking behind this is that it gives the squashes something to keep hold of, and hopefully they'll work their way right up to the top and over the other side, and likewise the plants on that side will come over this way, and we'll have a complete archway of squashes, and with any luck their fruits will then hang down through these larger spaces, and we'll have that fabulous walkway thing where you can look down and just see all the squashes hanging down. It's nice to dream. And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. And I also hope you'll join me again next time.